She's on vacation.
She jumped in the other night.
She always jumps.
I know.
I know. She should not, but
trust-
she
trust the
does.
ball.
I know. Really, not good.
All right, we on? All right, roll call, Ms. Mangan.
Here.
Ms. Richardson
Here.
and me. Can I get a motion for approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Approval of minutes?
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Ms. Bacon can vote, right? Or,
No, she can't.
no,
No.
no.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Any public participation?
Eric. You've got
That's
Kim
just-
up there and I think that's it.
Okay, no public participation. Nice outside.
Would they be on that, the public participation, or would they be on the other, another line?
No, that line.
That one.
Yeah, this one isn't like a
They just complain.
secure.
Technology updates. Student access restrictions.
So this is in your packet. You see Ally's response. Gary had a question. Can we get an overview of what tech is in place to restrict kids' access to creating alternate logins, access alternate VPNs, websites, email from outside of school? I'd like to understand what we have in place. Now, recognize this is a limited response, and if you have a question, I'm not going to be able to answer
Well,
it
I'll be perfectly
past
honest.
this.
Nikki had the question first. So I sent it in and she's not here yet, so, but we'll go over it now. And then she can-
Okay, and Eric, you're welcome to jump in on
I
any of
thought I
this if,
Did you
you
ask
know,
her?
it makes
Yeah.
any sense at all. But
I'm not a tech guy.
basically, so what's in place for the Macs when they do come in, and have we budgeted that properly for that? So the firewall does not easily allow for blocking of entire categories. I remember her actually saying that when we were all together, without interrupting what we're doing daily. So keeping up with manual blocking and unblocking specific sites has been challenging. So next week, they're transitioning to the next generation firewall, and it'll gain real-time deep packet inspection. I don't understand the deep packet inspection, but you do?
I do.
Great.
I know what the plan is in summary
Perfect.
is that she won't be blocking specific sites. The kids will be able to go out there, search YouTube, look like they're getting into it. When it goes to pull back, she'll block it. Because it's almost impossible, I think, in the beginning of
Right.
this, she
She can't
explains that,
control
right,
that.
you can't block
Yep.
every possible scenario out there, but as they come in, they'll be blocked. I don't know what
Someone's gonna
kind of
catch it.
testing will go into that.
Somebody's gonna have to watch it, or it'll automatically do that.
It'll automatically do it. She'll catch anything that's not approved. So YouTube, Instagram,
Right.
TikTok,
Twitter.
Twitter,
Yeah.
all
that
the,
stuff.
whatever they all are.
Yep. Mhm.
She'll catch them on their way in. She won't catch them when they're
Right.
searching it. They'll say, oh, there's Instagram, and they'll try and bring it back and they'll get blocked.
Yeah, I think that's the extent Nick wanted to know. There were some kids, very smart kids, who were bragging about setting up their own, VPN
Mhm.
and getting around the whole thing. I have no idea what they're talking about. And these like are 16-year-old kids.
Yeah,
And
I think
They said
this
that
is
we're gonna get
supposed to
around it.
make a big difference.
Yeah.
So after she implements it, it'd probably be good to add to the agenda again
Yeah.
next month,
when Nikki's
once
here.
she's here. Yeah,
Yeah, and she can really speak to it.
yeah,
Yeah, that whole firewall, because she is updating that. So
yeah.
it makes sense.
So we'll have a
Yeah,
better feel next month,
Sure.
how it's going and what she's able to catch.
Okay.
honestly.
Yep.
We're done quick. Nice out.
Oh, she
Okay.
actually said at the end of her thing, she'll demonstrate the software at a future meeting, so we'll put it for a demo next month, yeah.
Facilities. Update on TMS roof.
Okay, so, so tomorrow we have a pre-bid conference for the RFP, which was approved by the board to go out for structural engineering. That's at 10 o'clock here. I know I definitively have one bidder that's coming. I don't know who else will show up for the pre-bid. It was advertised, so we'll see where it goes. I will have complete sets of plans and the bid packet and anything that they need to take a look at it. And then we'll do tours of the building. They have 2 weeks to give us a number back. So
I just got a quote from my roofer, which was 52,000 for 10,000 square feet 10 months ago. Because of the insulation, it's now 67, so 22% a month. I don't have a choice, the building's sitting there, but I don't know, well, we'll see what happens with the school, but
Yeah, so that's just a current update on the roof. I just wanted you guys to know that we do have that pre-bid meeting tomorrow. It's at 10, so
all right, good.
hopefully we'll get a couple of vendors in to bid it.
For a driveway.
Okay, so in your packet is the just the memorandum from the engineer. So the engineer came out to the site. He actually did a great job. He wrote it up really nice. He provided pictures. His field observations when he was there. On this one particular day, there was only 3 or 4 cars out on Torrington West. There's been other days where we've seen obviously much more cars than that. And then on the last page, he cites short-term and long-term recommendations. Most of the short-term recommendations we have already put in place, right? So we gave our staff proper safety gear to wear. We trained individuals a little bit better on how to run that traffic driveway, how to run that out there. We have one custodian. It's in their contract about traffic control. So he is running it every single day. And he does a great job. There has been no instances of any kind of issues or close calls or nothing up there. So it seems at this point to be working. He gives long-term recommendations, which there's a couple of them there. One is possibly taking the driveway and turning it and creating a cross intersection with the St. Peter's Church. St. Paul's Church. Peter, Paul, and they were
One
all,
saint
they were
from
all hanging out
another,
together.
right?
Come on. So that's one objective rather than going all the way across, right? That would be a fairly easy fix. Another easy fix he recommends is to just put a gate at the end of the driveway. And this has been sent to Jeremy at P&Z. He has responded back that he's going to review this with the city engineer. We need to sit with them and have a discussion before this actually goes on to any meeting agendas. And the engineer said that they will come and sit as well. We're just waiting for Paul and Jeremy to get back to us. So I will hit them with a follow-up email because it's been a couple of days since we've received an initial response. And I know that we have this deadline that's looming, but I do believe that they see that we've contracted with a professional, that work has been done, that as long as we're continuing to move towards a permanent solution for the driveway, that we'll be able to continue to
That's
use
everything
it.
they asked for.
Right.
Everything they've asked for.
So,
But we have to get on before the end of May, so hopefully we
Right.
can get on. I mean, this isn't a lot for him to review.
yeah, this is simple. So we'll follow back up with Jeremy again and make sure that that we can have that dialect.
It's gonna be a formal application, but
Right.
Yeah,
the
we.
engineer can do that.
Yeah, and that was all in as part of his thing. Just so you know, or you may not know. So we did sign the agreement with the engineer. It was $3,300. That's all it was.
Yeah.
So it was very reasonably priced. I've met the engineer out there. Seemed like a good bunch of guys. They're on it. So.
Good.
So this maybe, knock on wood, this will be a cheap
Somebody we could use in the future.
repair, and we'll just move on from it.
Update on capital plan. So you won't be here for this, but
So in the capital plan, what we did is because of and that's on in your packet as well, because of the security grant and the fact that the security grant was covering a number of items that were both listed in schools and in the district plan. What we did was sort of reformulated the plan to pull out those items and put them into a description at the very end, which says security grant. And that's broken down to what our original estimate was, what the submitted quotes were, what the grant award was, and what the district portion is. And those sort of numbers come off of the overall plan. So the overall plan does go down slightly. And that's where we currently stand. So this is something that would be, I believe, an edit to what we sent.
We can't, so we're still going to talk about the original capital plan that we submitted, so that
Right.
won't change. But then we'll also share this with the city as well, so that they understand that we got the security grant. And I've spoken with the mayor also, that this is how we would present it on the 26th.
So, yeah, pretty simple stuff.
And then on the very last page, you see the security grant summary, and we'll just put 2022, 2023, so that the city doesn't get confused. We know it's for that year, but we'll just add
Oh,
that.
yeah, okay, I can
Yeah.
edit that.
That's okay.
This is why Sue's here. She
Just the-
keeps me marching in the straight direction.
Little details. I think it just helps with the clarification, so.
More topics for future meetings already, John.
Hey,
I just have a question.
my whole point was to make John look bad.
What is the
No.
Southwest Park? I don't even know what that is. I'm
Uh,
just
They
not a
don't have any.
So,
No, I know that.
yeah, so
Oh, so
Southwest
it's-
parking is that they don't have enough parking. We constantly have cars that are parked in the loop, sort of against the building, which makes it difficult if we needed to get an emergency vehicle or something in the building. Mary Ann Buchanan, the principal of Southwest, kind of ran an idea past me. I went out, I took a look at it, I measured it, and we can gain 7 parking spots in the back of the building. It's not a lot,
Yeah.
but the 7 spots gets those cars that are currently parked around the loop out of the loop.
Okay.
So that's kind of huge, in that building and in Vogel and as you know, Southwest or at Torrington, we've had a lot of issues with parking and how people are getting in and out of those lots of stuff. Vogel and Southwest are terribly landlocked.
Yeah.
They're
On all
just, we
sides.
just don't have a lot of room. So this is just a simple option to give us 7 spots.
Okay. At one time, the city could have bought the cell phone towers for, I think it was like $60,000 next door,
Mhm.
which they didn't.
Yeah, so I'm not quite ready yet. That's when I actually go to sit with Jeremy, that's another one that's gonna come up as a,
I was gonna
Top-
suggest that.
yeah, it's already long on my radar. I understand the way that things need to go.
So we're not encroaching on any other property. We're staying in the parking, in
It's
the back
with-
parking
it's-
lot?
Yeah, it's the back parking lot where the buses come in.
Okay.
There is a grass area that is 26 feet from the edge of the sidewalk to the edge of the playground in depth and about 66 feet wide. So I can get in 7 full spots. I can't get 8. I'm
Yeah.
close, but I can't quite get 8.
Yeah.
But I get 7 full spots in there, and that's more than what we currently have parking against the building.
Could you do a couple compact cars and then pick up an extra space? I don't know if I suspect you probably have compact cars, but maybe not.
Well,
Get 8 spaces.
the difference in, it's the width of the space and the depth of the space. If I go with a standard, right, of 8 feet and 19 feet, that's what it gets me, is to the 7.
No.
If I can squeeze an 8th one in there, we're certainly gonna try, but,
So it's only 8.
so I wanna,
Or like a compact car, just one, if you have enough room, because if you, some parking garage, say
He's
compact
already at 8
cars
feet
only.
wide, though. I don't-
maybe we can have everybody drive motorcycles and I get 30.
Yeah. Scooters.
Yeah,
All right.
And that will cost us only 1 tree and some grass.
yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
not too
much.
bad.
That's what I
Yeah.
was told.
Anything else for future meetings? Calling for parking?
let's add, the technology update, so Ally can show us a demo of the software.
Sorry.
The student access restriction piece.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so the next meeting, Johnson Controls is going to do a presentation, and then obviously we want to start that conversation about the facility study for when, that's going to be for, an approved capital plan, whatever that approval is, and getting that study done, which would be, is desperately needed, but it dramatically impacts our capital plan because they will build a capital plan for us, basically. And that's what we'll do. We'll incorporate all of their findings within our capital plan. And they actually build it out years as well, just like it would be 5 years built out. So,
Comments for the good of the order. So.
No, great.
Oh, good, yeah.
Lynn,
Great meeting.
How's that?
John,
I'm good. Thank you very much.
Ellen,
What's that?
John.
I can't let you do this.
We haven't got the burger yet,
Joey
so.
Long at a filibuster in the Senate gave his grandmother shrimp gumbo recipe. Somebody can do that. I
I
won't.
can give my mother's meatball. She loves it. Jeff, Mr. Burger.
I do have something.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was late.
We've all done that. We've all gone to the wrong building.
This is, directed towards facilities and maybe perhaps some consideration for the building committee. It's in regards to the ball fields at the high school. There were 2 games that were canceled this week. And the fields really weren't that bad.
Who can't do that? We did.
I don't know,
Okay.
I'm not really sure how it works. Who made that decision. My concern going forward is it's the outside contractor that handles the maintenance of the ball fields, right? They prep the fields for games and so forth. One, I think they could be putting a little bit more effort in because they can practice on the fields in the afternoon. They should be able to get it ready for a game. Number 2, going forward for the building committee, if he can't handle getting 1 field ready, how are they going to handle 4 with the new school?
Hopefully it's turf, but without that, we have a problem.
So let me just talk to that really quick. So the contractor, with the way that the contract set up for lawn maintenance and field maintenance, it's really basic. There's not a lot of detail within that contract. It's pretty much mowing the lawn and lining up some fields and doing some of the field work. Now, we did a lot of work this past fall on the fields up at the middle school to get those fields somewhat prepared for the potential that we were going to lose fields at the high school and that we'd be able to shift our games and practices up there. And actually I was out on the fields a couple of times, and and Jess can speak to this as well, because her husband's does baseball and stuff, but it's always a difficult time of the year to get teams on those fields right in that April timeframe, right? The ground's very soft, the clay doesn't drain very well. He does do the best that he can do with what he has, but the unfortunate part is it does get so soft out there that to get machinery out in the fields, it actually sinks in, and then it makes it even worse. So that's really what the issue is.
Maintaining fields, the fields were not too soft to drag the field on Friday or Tuesday. Okay, they were able to practice on the fields. All I'm saying is that if his bare minimum stuff can't do what to maintain the fields now, from a building perspective, there's no way in hell he's going to do 4 fields when the new school comes.
That was talked about in building committee. I don't know if it was there, but briefly,
Yeah.
but I think with the new school, if we don't have turf, there will need to be a better budget for.
Well, this
For
is
fields.
the 3rd infields that they need to maintain.
No, I know, I'm saying, yeah, but more money is needed. Everybody did complain about that. I agree with you. I know. Or we can go down to Business Park. I'm sorry, 1 second. Let me ask you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are we better off spending $300 at Business Park from a varsity standpoint?
Well, the boys do play hard.
No, I know, that's what I'm saying. Is that what we're talking about, boys?
No, it's not.
Oh, I'm
He's
sorry.
talking about softball.
Oh, you said baseball.
Only,
I'm
the-
sorry.
only the girls play at the high school.
Oh, okay, okay. That's different.
Houston
I
is
see.
not necessarily any better at getting ready.
All right, you're right. We have to fix it.
When you're sure it was a turf issue, it was a field issue, it wasn't canceled because of like. you know, a
COVID
COVID or a
some,
scheduling
or
issue.
No.
the other
It was
team
a rain out.
canceled
Okay,
it or,
Okay,
okay.
okay.
Yeah. No,
It could be that the outfield was unplayable and the umpire makes that decision.
And it was called well before the umpire was even there.
Okay.
yeah, so John, I think we should,
Because I know Michael
Try to avoid
umpired
this
one
moving
day this
forward.
week.
I mean, John, if the guy wants more money, if it's not in this contract.
Everybody wants more
No,
money.
I know, but if it's not in this contract, legitimately, he should get paid for work he has to do. Can he? I guess it's a budget issue. Can we talk about it? How much more he may need to make sure those fields are ready?
Well, so
I don't
the
know.
contract's up for bid this year. And John, you're getting your wish, right? Because the meeting's going on longer.
No, look at that.
The contract is up for bid this year and the previous contract went 2 rounds with no changes to it and it's fairly generic, right? And so this would be the 3rd contract since we removed the custodial staff from doing all of the maintenance, right? Where you had 16 more employees so that they were out there doing the dragging. So, you know, one of the things that doesn't happen to the fields is that they don't get dragged. We just don't have the manpower to drag the fields even weekly. So what Mr. Richardson, I'm being politically correct, said is that he would actually go out and drag the fields and he invests the kids in doing maintenance on the fields, right? So, which I think is a great thing, right? So the kids play in the fields and they invest on how the turf looks and everything. In the past couple of years since I've been here, the fields have dramatically improved, but it takes a long time to get fields to really improve. And there's some serious drainage issues out in that whole thing, right? The ball fields kind of have some bellies in them that hold water and stuff like that. It's a little bit more than just, some of that.
But to Glenn's point, maybe we can have a sit down with the guys, say, listen, we need to have our fields ready. Whatever it takes. And I'm not saying it's your fault, obviously, but if it's an extra $300, I'll pay the $300. But I'm just saying, if it's for them to spend that extra.
But then let's budget for it if
That's right.
that's
And-
an issue.
And
for
this
every year.
has been one of the problems, right? So I
I'm
knew
not
that.
blaming the guy. I know what. trust me.
Well, I just want to say that I knew that we had some clay issues, right? That we needed some additional infield clay. So we called, I want to say the company might be Supreme, maybe it's Supreme, I'm not sure, right? They had their clay site where they get their clay from was so muddy. It was not dry from all the rain and stuff that we've had that they haven't even opened up to, I can't even get the 2 triaxle loads of clay that I want to get on those fields to increase the elevation. So that's not really a contractor issue, right? It has a lot to do with being able to get that product here. And unfortunately, a couple of the other clay distributors have closed, right? So we're very limited on where we can get clay from. And then if we get clay from a different clay distributor, you're matching the color of the clay, right? Because it's kind of inherent to where they get it from. So we've had a problem getting clay on the site. We've been waiting for 2 triaxle loads of clay now for almost 3 weeks.
Now, we're not gonna put clay in a softball field, that's coming up in another 3 months anyway.
Well, no, I would put clay on that softball field if the girls are going to play on that softball field for the remainder of this season, right? I'm not going to not make the field playable for them. So I certainly would put some clay in that field. I know that there's some parts in that infield that need to be elevated some because they do pocket some water and hold some water, right? And that's just inherent from the winter time and it kind of sinks everything down. And so we got to refluff it and
And
whatnot.
they don't drag it on a regular basis either, so you're gonna get more holes.
It's a safety issue. You gotta keep it safe for the girls so they don't turn their ankles.
So really understanding what's in their contract, if it's not in their contract to do any maintenance whatsoever, they're only lining the field and cutting grass, that's one thing. You know, if they do need to do some maintenance, if it's in their contract to maintain the fields, we should have a better understanding of what exactly that is.
Yeah, it's very limited.
Well, we have.
That's why we need to sit down and look at the contract to see. You know, there are certain things I would like to see. For instance, at least once a year, I would love to just see mulch put up, right? We don't even mulch any of the beds around the building, right? Everything's growing with weeds, and I have to call a contractor and say, hey, we got to take care of these weeds. We can't spray any chemicals on them. So they come down with their weed whacker. And you know, it'd be nice for, you know, to throw some mulch down for graduation time and make the building look like something so that, you know, so those kinds of things should be written into the contract. So, you know, hey, graduation time, you know, you gotta, you know, mulch up the buildings at least once a year. We should be doing that kind of stuff.
Are these multi-year contracts?
It's a 3-year, yes.
Okay, so that would, if they're renewing this year, then that's going to put us right at opening.
Yeah, that's fine.
But you can have them do alternates for all those things. I mean, there's no, trust me, I know for the mulch, because I think I sent 30 loads of mulch over the last 5 years between middle school and other places. But have them in the contract. I mean, you're not talking a lot of money.
Well, that's why I said I have to sit down and go
But
through
what he's
that
talking about,
contract.
though, I still think you should talk to them and just say, in my opinion, I would call my guys to just, whatever it is, do it. It's not gonna be a lot of money. So
Well,
we
we find out how
don't,
much it is
so-
first, but. yeah.
so we don't lose the next 2
Yeah,
or 3
let's get
games,
an
because it's not fair to the girls,
No,
you know? You know, as best you
And
can.
that drainage is poor up there.
Can you get an estimate and
The
then
field
we
actually,
can see?
since they-
Lynn can check the
Yep.
budget. and-
Yeah, we're still, like I
Okay.
said, we're still waiting for clay. That's my big issue right now.
We'll see
But
what
is
we
that
got.
something that you could bring to full board so that people can vote?
Mhm.
Because we need full board to vote on it anyway.
See if you can find it anywhere.
Who's the city use like for usage?
I think Fusionist uses the same clay pit that we use.
All right, I'll-
It'd be worth just investigating and asking, you know what I mean? They might. No,
We'll see what we can dig up.
might be different.
They don't have their own
What?
anywhere, in the city.
Clay
One of
pit?
their- Yeah,
No,
No.
no.
Ask on YouTube.
No.
I was just thinking.
You're
I
looking,
don't know that we
you're
have
looking
clay.
at, ONG
Going through it
doesn't,
In my head,
ONG doesn't do clay.
yeah, I didn't think they
No,
did. We don't
they,
have any.
you're looking at, about
It's a pretty much right in the
around
backyard.
$3,000 a load, a triaxle load for clay. That's about what it costs. So I did order 2 triaxle loads, which some of that was going down to the baseball, softball fields at the high school. And then the remainder of it was gonna top dress the fields up at the middle school because they needed a little bit more work up there.
You might want to just ask, I want to see if they can find something further south.
Yep.
They have their.
All the way, yeah, they have connections in New York.
yeah,
We wanted to go that far, but I'll ask
See what they say.
tomorrow and see if there's anywhere
All right.
they can get it.
So I am sorry, John.
Oh, no, I appreciate it.
like that.
Makes me look better.
I don't know. Can we have a
But
motion?
Jess hasn't there. Sure, Jess.
Oh, no, I said I was good.
Oh.
Kim is on,
Kim,
Kim is
Kim,
on.
I'm Kim.
I'm
Kim.
sorry, Kim. Comment for the good of the order?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Motion.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Half an hour, John.
6:29.